Hello all, welcome back to my channel. This is Future B here with another video, and in this video I'm going to be testing out this nail supply Glamour monomer. I got it a while ago, but this is my first time using it. So let's fill up this damping dish and get to doing some nails. I'm going to be doing blue nails. As you can tell, I'm also going to be using these tiny little shell pieces that I got quite a while ago as well. So let's get into it. So do you notice anything different as I'm starting here? No peel off base coat. I'm going to be doing both hands in the same design. You won't see me do both hands completely in this video, but I'm doing both hands with the same design. So of course I went in with my clear acrylic on all of my nails. I stopped here on my ring nail, and with the clear acrylic already down, I'm just going to go ahead and smush these shells into the acrylic. It's really easy to do. I didn't have to add down more acrylic to help adhere the shells. I just went in right after my clear coat and put the shells in, pushed them in. I'm going to be adding a little bit more acrylic over the top to hold them in place while I go and do the rest of the nails. And then I'm going to cap them just like any other nail. So as I said, for this ring finger, it's going to have the shells on it. My pointer is going to have a French, an elongated French, not too long, but it's a little elongated, a French with a print in gel polish on top of that. My middle finger is going to be a textured nail, and I'm going to have that same print that's on my pointer finger, but I'm going to have that on top of my nail on my middle finger, and then my pinky nail is going to be the entire nail with the same design that is on the pointer. Does that make sense? Goodness, I don't know. That sounded really complicated as I was saying it, so you know, just watch. And what about the thumb? Well, the thumb is going to be a combination of my pointer finger as well as my ring finger. I'm going to be using some shells, but I'm also going to be doing the blue on that nail as well. There's also going to be gel polish involved. So yeah. Now let's get to the fun stuff. Let's talk about this monomer. A few months ago, I tried out the Nail Supply Glamour odorless monomer, and that monomer truly was odorless, but it is for practice use only, and it sets incredibly slowly. I didn't try putting like a little acetone in it to see if it would set quicker, but it set incredibly slowly and it was extremely odorless. As far as this monomer goes, I did not use monomer drops with it, and it did have an odor, but it wasn't horrible. Normally, whenever I do nails, I do have a fan on my desk, but if the smell is extra loud, then I will go open my balcony door so that I get even more ventilation. But that wasn't necessary, and I really haven't had to do that many times. I tried out the Young Nails monomer not too long ago, and that monomer did give me like a slight headache. I did have the fan on my desk on, and I had a fan in the room going because it's Texas and it's kind of hot. But that monomer really smelled. Like the Young Nails one to me is extremely strong. This one is not as strong. I wouldn't say that it is comparable to Mia Secret, but I would probably compare it to the Kiara Sky. Not bad, but you can smell it. So as far as the setting power of this monomer, did it set slowly, did it set quickly, that type of thing, I found that it was a little bit runny. And I don't know that this was actually the monomer's fault. I should try it again on a different day. But as I said, it was pretty hot in the room that I was working in, and so I had my desk fan on, but I also had the fan on in the room. With it being so cool in the room, I'm pretty sure my AC was on too. With it being so cool in the room, the nails seemed a bit runny. They weren't taking longer to set, but it felt like as I was applying the acrylic to the nails, it was more runny than I am used to. My nails are never extra runny because I don't attempt to use too much monomer when I'm using my nails. I kind of like to save my monomer. So even though the application is buttery, I still don't want to use too much monomer. In this case, I didn't use too much monomer. It wasn't runny as in it was about to fall off the nails, but I noticed that it was more runny than I'm used to. That could have been my fault. It also could have been the fault of the room. I also don't think that it set any faster or slower than my other monomers. So like I said, that could have just been me. I'm going to have to try it again and see what happens. So how did it work with the other products that I was using today? So the acrylic, the blue acrylic that I'm using is Modelones. The shells are just some random tiny shell things that I got from Hobby Lobby a while ago. The clear acrylic that I'm using is Secret. And then obviously I'm going to be using a couple of polishes, clear polish, matte polish, top coat, all those things. How did it work with the myriad of different products I'm going to be using with it? Well, great question. When it came to working with the other acrylics, I did not use this with Nail Supply Glamour acrylic. But how did it work with the Secret acrylic and the Modelones acrylic? Just fine. There was no issues. None. So I'm in like a lot of groups on Facebook, nail groups on Facebook, and I often see people asking about using monomer with other acrylics that are not from the same brand. And I always do this. For the most part, I'm using several different products whenever I'm doing my nails. And I don't know that I've ever had an issue using acrylics of different brands together. I've never had issues using monomer and acrylics that are in different brands, or have any issues with using a certain gel polish over my acrylics. I've never had any of those issues. If you have had that issue, I would love to know why you think that is, or if you've found a solution for what you're doing. But for me, it's never been an issue, and with this one, it continued to be the same. It was not an issue. You know, I've also heard of people who have had heat spikes as they are working with their acrylics. I've never had a heat spike with my acrylic and my monomer. My mom sometimes does her own nails, and I think I've heard her say that she did experience a heat spike once. But if you are the type that gets a heat spike, the key is not working with too much acrylic. Sometimes if you're working with a whole lot of acrylic and you're just putting it on there, you could heat spike. There's an issue of also, you know, getting monomer on your skin. There could be a couple of different reasons, but if you're working with a whole lot of acrylic, laying it down on the nail bed, you could get a heat spike. So, you know, keep that in mind. And I think sometimes I work with pretty large beads, but they're never big enough for me to get a heat spike. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing nails. Don't work with a bead that is too big for you to be working with. So those are like my top 3 considerations that I think about whenever I am working with a new monomer. The first one being the smell, the second one being how fast it sets with working with whatever acrylic that I'm working with, as well as how the product works with other products that I'm using. And so I would give this an A for all of those things. Now, let's talk about the price point. The size of the bottle of monomer that I'm using is not that big. Hold on, let me see exactly what the ounces is. 4 fluid ounces for $15.99. It was either $14.99 or $15.99. So you tell me, do you think that that's a good price? $14 to $15.99 for 4 fluid ounces. What do I think? That was called a dramatic pause right there. That's what that's called. I think that is a good price. That is actually a really good price. I think it's comparable to the other monomers that I have. Per ounce, yeah, that's dead on, I think. But you let me know. Do you have another monomer that you really like that is less expensive, or is it more expensive? I don't remember in the store if there were other size bottles. I'm sure that there were, but because I'd never used it before, I wanted to go with a smaller bottle, but one that I would be able to get a lot of use out of. And I think 4 ounces is pretty good. I think I have one monomer that is like 16 ounces, and then I have another one that's like 8 ounces. And so 4 ounces would be small compared to those, but being that I'd never used this one before, I think a 4-ounce bottle is pretty okay. So overall, I think I would still give this monomer an A. What would make it an A+? If the smell didn't bother me. But that's subjective, because I am okay with the Mia Secret, and for some people, Mia Secret gives them a headache. The Young Nails gave me a headache, and some people absolutely love Young Nails. So I think to give this really like an A+, all you would need to do would be to apply some monomer drops. I used the Valentino monomer drops previously, and I'm looking to buy some more monomer drops now, but lately I've been trying out monomer without drops because I really want to know how it smells and how I would compare them. But I liked the Valentino monomer drops. They were like vanilla cherry. Totally wasn't bad. Kind of smelled like medicine, but it was okay. There are lots of different monomer drops. You know, I suggest you giving those a try. In general, whether there's a smell to it or not, give them a try. You might like them. So now both hands have been filed, shaped, and buffed. Now I'm going to be going in with some polish. First of all, with this nail, I'm going to be going in with a little bit of matte top coat first. I forgot to show it, but I'm going to show it here in a minute. I'm going to go in with, I'm sorry, this is not matte top coat. This is base coat. I'm going to go in with base coat on my thumb, my pointer, and my pinky nails. And then I'm going to be going in with matte on my middle finger. Why am I using matte on my middle finger? It's because that's going to be a matte nail. Yeah. That makes sense. Then on top of the base coat, I then go in with blooming gel. Did I need to go in with base coat and then blooming gel? Probably not, but I did. So I want to tell you what it did. So I put blooming gel on my thumb. Well, I'm going to put it on my thumb, my pointer finger, and my pinky nail. With the blooming gel still wet, I'm going to go in and put some black gel polish on the nails to create this kind of print. I don't know what the name of this print is, but I like it. It's kind of reptilian. Yeah, reptilian. And then the print that I'm going to be going in on my middle finger, it's going to be on top of that matte coat. And I think it's kind of like a crocodile print. So I don't know what it is whenever you're doing it with a shiny top coat, but whenever you're doing it matte, then it's crocodile. So yeah. So now that the gel polish has been applied, I let it bloom slightly. I'm going to wipe the edges of the nails and I'm going to cure. I'm going to do that same process on my thumb, and then we will go in and do the matte nail, and I'll tell you a little bit about that once we get there. All right, now to the fun part. I'm going to be adding some clear acrylic into this black polish so that the black polish is a little bit more raised on the nail. With gel polish, because it's thick but it's thin, it will kind of even out, and I wanted this to be raised on my nail, so I'm using a dotting tool to apply the gel polish and acrylic mixture. As I said, it's going to be a little bit thick on the nail, and it's going to mattify after I cure the polish under my UV nail lamp. And I have to say, I think this nail was my favorite. After I did this nail set, I was like, bump these other nails. I should have did them all with just this print because it's cute. And I think I might have been foreshadowing, but since these were like my favorite nails, I kind of saved them for last. Yep, these are the last nails that I'm going to be doing. After I cure these nails under the UV lamp, I'm then gonna go in and top coat the other nails with shiny top coat and then cure them. And lastly, we'll be going in with cuticle oil on all of my nails, and I'll show you the final product. So let me know, have you ever tried this monomer from Nail Supply Glamour? Do you have a favorite monomer? If so, let me know down below. If it is not a monomer that I have tried, I'd totally be willing to try it. Did you like this nail set? Do you know the name of this print? Because like, I don't. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.